Good evening. Bonsoir. It is now 5:45 p.m. and the meeting is called to order. Roll call, please.
Chair Joseph,
Present.
Board Member Keys,
Here.
Board Member Bien-Aimé,
Here.
Board Member Galvin,
Here.
Board Member Stereo.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Okay. Proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of minutes from our meeting on December 9th, 2014.
So moved.
Any objection, any discussion on the last minute? Roll call for the approval of the minute.
Board Member Keys,
Yes.
Board Member Bien-Aimé, Board Member Stereo. Chair Joseph,
Yes.
Board Member Galvin.
Yes.
4-1.
Okay, now we proceed with the items for review. Agenda item number 1, downtown parking study, presentation and discussion.
Yes, Chairman. Yes, Chairman. This first item, the CRA parking study, is actually an extension of the downtown master plan with the possibility of approximately $500,000 additional residential units and $300,000 possibility of additional commercial and retail space. It was recommended in the downtown master plan that we extend it to include a parking study to determine if the new plan would call for additional parking, just in order to give teeth to our downtown master plan to say that it is feasible and it will be enough parking available. We did procure the services of the Cordino Group some months ago, and they basically did a parking inventory and needs assessment study.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Surrey, just a minute. I think the commissioner would like to recognize.
Oh.
them.
I'm so sorry,
Yes,
Mr. Commissioner.
through the chair, I would like to recognize and turn it over.
You will forgive me, right? Yeah. Sorry about that. We want to acknowledge the presence of our commissioner here, and I'm sure you have a few words you want to share with us.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, and to the council and administration and our citizenry of North Miami. Thank you. I'm running between meetings, and I got something else on the beach. But I am aware that you had a CRA meeting, a board meeting last night. You had a meeting and carryover information now. I wanted to appear because I am your CRA commissioner, proud to serve North Miami with my colleague, Commissioner and Commission Chair Jean Monesteem. The CRA revenue comes from the district I represent, the beneficiaries in a special deal made for the CRA, unique to the county and your respective city, was the blight area needed to go in another commission district, but in the same municipality, and we all concurred, and that was done prior to Mr. Monesteem coming on the commission. What I want to tell you is the status right now and how proud and happy I am, because I came before you once before to say thank you, your current administration at the time, Mr. Manager, Mr. Finance Director, finally got a message that was trying to be delivered from downtown. It said, you may be following the letter of the state law, but not the needs of your fine city. And if you don't clean up your act, I will not proceed with a threat. I will proceed with action to withhold money you have spent in difference to what is an agreement on the interlocal. and also come back at you with a blighted community and get the money back on what would be a county match. Well, I am pleased to tell you that your administration got it. And the commission, mayor and commissioners, you got it also. I approved for the first time, it was retro, the 13-14 budget in good faith, because we said quit going heavy with six-figure salaries for directors who could pick and choose from a blighted community and meet all the obligations under state statute. And with direction of your citizenry on a CRA board and your elected officials here, you know the problems facing the community and affordable solutions to put it on the right course. You did it with MoCA. You did it with 123 Street, and you ran out of money because you put $250,000 into salaries and rent that did nothing for this community. This manager met with me and Sunshine. We got with Commissioner Monestein and others and said, and I publicly said it in a meeting, that said, I will support the city of North Miami in good faith, give them the money, because they're going to move forward. They cut out 2 salaries at $100,000 around there each. They cut out rent that they could avoid and brought it in City Hall. They are working with free experts downtown because the county likes you, and the 2 commissioners like you, and your own commission likes you, and you could get better value with your commitment and our commitment to public service than fine titles to people that didn't spend the money well and had me choking on agreeing to give it to you in basically a payback after it's spent in violation to your own CRA. So this manager even said the legal firm that allowed us to proceed and violated the interlocal needs to go also, and will save another $50,000. So I am pleased to tell you that my county administration downtown, shared by Commissioner Monestein and 11 other colleagues, has great faith in Mr. Fernandez. He is resourced, he is professional, and he is free, because last time I looked, you and every other municipality that has a CRA is part of Miami-Dade County and part of our tax base. And he enjoys a working relationship for the last at least 8 months, working on structuring improvements under your CRA obligations. We are currently awaiting the submission of the 14-15 CRA, bless you, expenditures for North Miami. And I'm reminding you, your previous hired directors violated the interlocal when they spent money before they got county approval. Not my decision. This CRA and the interlocal was entered into before I even got on the commission. I was a state legislator at the time. I believe with great confidence the commitment of you up here, the direction of open-minded but very pragmatic people looking at the whole of North Miami on your CRA board, and most of the members I don't even know, I apologize, I don't even know, I never attended. But at the direction of this management team that said, we can do it in-house. When we need to go outside and consult, it will be at a minimum cost because we're committed to putting the money back into CRA projects supported and endorsed, meeting the criteria for our city: economic development, growth, business assistance, whether it's grant or loan, and that's what it's about. You are up for an extension. I'm going to make it real clear. Sometimes I talk a little too much or a little too fast, but I want you to hear it so you understand exactly where I'm coming from. As long as you commit money to the substantive needs of our city, North Miami, meeting the criteria, not the statute that says you can go back to paying a DJ and blowing up balloons and six-figure salaries, but put it into our blighted areas, and I could point them out because I love this city and I participate and drive through it. You know it, I know it. Put it back in the community, allow your administration with their existing salary to work with our administration that is totally free. Not only will I endorse it, I will do what I did last year when Mr. Sori and Mr. Ghani did in coming down there. We unanimously, and we have one person who actually hated CRA, we unanimously supported North Miami CRA and brought it right through without even pulling it down, other than say, congratulations, you are moving forward in a direction we're supporting. Now, that's my commitment. Without the six-figure salaries and the special consults and whatever that I feel comfortable, your team here and you as conscientious public servants and our assistants, free downtown that can provide you, you utilize that money and put it back into the community with other as your plan that is waiting to be submitted. I will not only vote for it, I will sponsor it. I will champion it. I will even cajole a hesitant one or two, if there should be anybody, to get it through and move you forward. And with a watchful eye on 15 to 16, I will work with you as I did with Miami Beach, South Point. The most successful CRA we had, we fought to extend it. And my colleagues said it exceeded what they needed to do. They don't need it anymore. Our position was, if they're doing what is right and it's beneficial for a ripple effect to the area, then reward them instead of sunsetting them. And guess what? Miami Beach, and most of you have been to South Point, you don't think they needed, as someone said, around Lincoln Road in the convention center. He was the dissenter, and it passed overwhelmingly. I see the needs of North Miami and the strong will of this administration as able and like-minded to that example to move you forward. I will work with you on this submission now, free, as will our team downtown, and keep the money into service instead of salaries. And not only will I sponsor your next one and make sure no one else holds it up, but I will be there for the next year to see you extended. So, Mr. Mayor, I was hoping our first dialogue was going to be sort of social as a welcome aboard post-holidays. I am so happy and look forward to working with you. I have had the pleasure of working with your colleagues already. This administration, for a while, we're on the same team. Please, the best thing I can say to all of you here is heed my words. You know I'll carry out my commitment to your city, but please, if it regresses to the old days, you know the obstacle I threw in your path. It was detrimental, I believe, to the city. You're on a forward motion. I want to be part of the team that supports it. And with that, thank you very much. I appreciate you indulging me and allowing me to jump ahead to that gentleman who had a presentation. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Madam Commissioner, and it is a pleasure having you today. And thank you for the words of wisdom. And I'm sure that you will be with us every step of the way. And our new slogan now is North Miami on the move. We are on the move, and I'm sure that you will be on the move with us to a new path, to a new direction, and together we will make it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Mr. Budgetman.
Yes. Again, we have Alex David from the Cordino Group, who's going to go over the...
Is your mic on?
Yeah, it's on. We have Alex David for the Caldino Group, who's going to go over the parking inventory needs study and just let you know the parking that he did identify, potential parking, the potential need of parking. And this actually, we're not requesting a vote on this item tonight. This is basically our draft that came through with the parking study. He's going to do the presentation on it. It's for the council to look it over and digest it over the next month or so. And once we do see him and we're all happy with the study, then we will definitely move to adopt the study. But we're not asking to adopt the study tonight. We just want to do the presentation on what is actually we're working on at the moment.
In addition to what Mr. Sori just said, we'd like to get comments back. It's on. It's on. We'd like to get comments back on the parking study that was done, so that way it could be assimilated into a final report. You know, as Mr. Sori mentioned, it's an integral part of our downtown redevelopment that we are trying to actually kickstart or have the catalyst to moving, you know, our downtown redevelopment.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Alex David with the Cordino Group, and I'm here to present the draft of the parking inventory and needs study. And I just wanted to back up a little bit because, you know, this has been a long process. This is just one prong, I guess, of multiple planning documents, starting with your comprehensive plan update 6 or 7 years ago, the land development regulations update, which happened several years ago, which allowed us to get where we're here tonight, which the land development regulations allowed for growth in the downtown area, densifying and intensifying uses. And the next step, as you know, you approved in 2013 the major corridor master plan. Last year, at the end of last year, you approved this document, the downtown concept plan, and now we're asking for your review and comment on the parking inventory. So they all really tie together. There are a lot of documents, but as I said, they all pretty much tie together. And what came out of your zoning code and land, your comprehensive plan exercises is the allowance for up to almost about 5,000 new dwelling units in the downtown area and about 300,000 square feet of non-residential, which is commercial and retail. So we looked at what that would require with with respect to parking and other issues, and it's with current codes, you're looking at almost 8,500 parking spaces if everything was built out. If 5,000 units were built and 300,000 square feet of non-residential. We don't know if that is ever going to happen because that's the private sector. But there is much interest in downtown North Miami, so you know we need to start preparing for that growth. So what we did was look at your current public parking lots, and I'm not going to run through this whole document. It is a draft, but there is a map showing locations of existing parking lots in the city. And as I threw out there, you know, we're looking at over 8,000 parking spaces would be required. But in the 11 lots in the downtown from the high school south to this area, you only have about 639 parking spaces. So where does all that other parking go? So we looked at locations, and this has been discussed at a previous hearing. I think we called it Mr. Sori called it the three-point catalyst approach. And in this document, you know, we were looking at priorities. So the downtown, south of us here, the parking lot across 8th Avenue, and then the public parking lot on 126th Street between 8th and 9th would be priorities for the city. And the number one priority is the parking lot across 8th Avenue here, which would be utilized by others, private developers, and for city hall uses. I brought Mr. Salman Rator with me. He's the traffic engineer for the Cordino Group. And as a planner, we want to keep as many vehicles parked and you know, parked when they get home so they could walk and utilize restaurants and other businesses. But I just wanted to have Mr. Rator just go over what we calculated in the way of trip generation, so you realize how massive this Oh, you can use, no. So basically, as I stated, we were looking at 5,000 dwelling units based on your existing code. We have not changed your code. And about 300,000 new square feet. And we broke the 300,000 down a little bit more. So now I just want Mr. Rathore to tell you, talk about traffic a little bit and the trip generated
Trip
from this.
generation.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex. Salman Rathore with the Corradino Group. As Alex had mentioned, I did the trip generation for the proposed development, which is approximately 5,000 mid-rise apartment, about 200,000 general office building, 50,000 specialty retail center, and about 50,000 of quality restaurant. We used the IT trip generation manual, the latest, which is the 9th edition, which we typically use for our traffic studies and for determining trips that any potential development would generate. Using that manual, what we found was that for all this development, it's going to generate about 2,250 AM peak hour trips. In other words, AM being between 7 AM to 9 PM in the morning, it is going to generate about 2,250 AM peak hour trips, and it's going to generate about 2,600 PM peak hour trips, which is between 5 PM and 7 PM. So those are the numbers that I have.
And could you just explain, you discounted from the real, because this is an urban, just,
Right. Typically, once we do trip generation, like how many trips, any development would generate, we take into account, for example, if it's a mixed-use development, for example, if it has, like in this case, it has, residential, commercial, restaurant, all those type of elements, we take some trip credit. In other words, it is assumed that people will be living in that community, and they will be walking to go to the restaurant, they'll be walking to go to the office, so we take credit for those trips. So those trip credits were taken into account while we did this exercise of calculating trips.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this document is a draft, and a lot of it, as I said, it shows the existing condition. Much of the document is looking at all those lots I mentioned, the 11 lots or so, the existing conditions, the amount of parking on those lots now. That's how we came up with the 639 parking space figure. But also towards the rear are the actual, what we could actually, the potential projects. Based on what we discussed about the number of units and square footage, where could we actually site or potentially site parking garages? So that's what we've done in the last number of pages in this document. We will be adding a few more items to this document to clean it up. We met with the CRA advisory board last evening. They had some very good comments and questions. And we look forward to getting any comments from you all, and we'll incorporate those into the document. Thank you very much.
How many parking spaces we anticipate having in this, that we project for the new?
There are two figures. Again, this is a concept, and it's really developer or public-private partnership driven.
Mhm.
So as I said, if you looked at your zoning code now and you built all these units and all this square footage of offices or restaurants, you need about 8,500 parking spaces in downtown. But that's the highest end, and typically difficult to reach that amount. So we came down a little bit, and looking at what we could do on city-owned properties, as across the street on 8th Avenue and on 126th Street, where you have larger surface lots, what can we actually build? And just using our professional estimates, working with others in the firm, we came up with a list of, and these are public and private, on page 45 of this report, about 5,400 spaces. So we're citing You know, we've looked at the downtown, as I said, across the street, south of here, south of Mocha. If we created an administrative parking garage, you know, we're looking at the Tri-Rail station proposed along 125th, so we have to take that into account. That would be, excuse me, you know, a commuter rail station basically. So we need to account for a number of parking spaces there. We looked at the existing Chase Bank site. That's a private, privately owned building, but there's room for redevelopment. The Publix, as you know, many Publixes, I guess Publixes, in the area have gone vertical with parking. So they've shrunk the footprint, and this is, you know, a Publix. If it were to go away, there are options, you know, to make that a mixed use with a parking garage for maybe residential and the grocery store, which happens all the time. So, you know, we chose a few private sites, but we were looking at public sites mostly and areas where we could have public-private partnerships. So the bottom line is what we estimate is about 5,400 spaces.
5,400. 5,408. Any questions from the board? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And again, Mr. Chair, this is just at us moving forward with the downtown master plan and with us looking to extend the life of the CRA and the redevelopment plan. This is an extension of the downtown redevelopment plan, master plan, and we just brought the Cordino Group in to move forward so we don't get to the point where we're ready to start doing something and then we're worried about the parking then. We've taken care of the parking issue now and the needs of parking. As we move forward, we have a blueprint on the parking and where parking should go. Although this is just a draft and a concept, it does identify areas that we should be looking at in the future. So we'll bring this back to the board probably in the next meeting and looking to adopt the plan to have it as our official parking inventory and needs study.
Now, as I understand it, the parking garage cannot be materialized until the CRA revamping, restructuring is done, right?
Yes. Basically, we wouldn't have the funding unless we committed the funding from the general fund. The extension of the CRA will allow us to possibly seek revenue bonds against our TIF money and moving forward. So if we did get an extension of 10, 15 years, we could go out and now do a revenue bond against the TIF payments we are going to be receiving, and then that will provide the money to build the parking garages and do the downtown projects. Right now, I believe in our current financial situation, what we have going now, we wouldn't be able to fund those parking garages, you know, unless we do pledge for revenues and pledging. I believe the ultimate goal is going to be to pledge TIF revenues to build up our downtown and implement the redevelopment plan, the downtown redevelopment plan.
Any projection for how much it might be costing?
Well, in this,
Is it in the booklet?
Yes.
yeah.
Hmm.
But again, you know, we had our people do our best estimates as of today, but as you know, construction costs are going up every day. So as of the date of this report, we feel very confident in our numbers.
What page is that?
45.
45. I see the square footage.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
the
Hold on.
45 has the square footage and the
Oh,
number
I'm
of
sorry. I'm sorry. When we laid out, starting on page
13.3 million.
starting on page 36
36 starting on page,
through
that's correct.
40.
No, 44. Page 44.
Yeah, when we looked at every parcel, we assigned, you know, what we think in theory we could build parking, you know, the number of spaces and the costs.
Oh, there is a cost for each of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's broken down by site.
What?
I don't see any numbers, dollar numbers.
Yeah, just
Oh,
go.
yeah, you're right
It's
side.
all the way down to
The last thing on every page is the cost.
looking at the pages to the left, the lower left.
Yeah, in the gray boxes, starting on page 36.
Okay, I see it.
So which one is across from us? That's the 128th and, no, between West Dixie and 6.
Oh, no, yeah, actually,
Page 36.
yeah, the number one, it was like a priority, so we looked at, that was our number one, the one directly across 8th Avenue from here.
Okay. That's the 14.5 million.
Yes. And Mr. Story, I think you talked about you had a meeting a couple months ago, and I know you discussed this garage, and I think the numbers were pretty similar from what I recollect.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. I'll see you, I guess, next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item. Item number 2.
Item number 2 is the redevelopment plan discussion. Item 2 basically carries on with the extension of the CRA. And we had a timeline that we did include in your agenda package. Once we started looking at us getting the life of the CRA extended from this point that we're at the current moment in January. Anybody working on our CRA plan, it's probably going to take approximately about 7 months to do the CRA plan. In time after that is completed, and it's a working document, you'll have various county meetings that we will have to go before, county boards we would have to go to before. And you're talking probably approximately another 8 months worth of meetings, because there are regulations, the meetings have to be 6 weeks apart. And so you're talking possibly about another 9 months worth of meetings once the CRA redevelopment plan has been completed. That will, between the 7 and those 9 months, will push us out to about June, July of 2016. Our CRA is set to sunset in October of 2016. That will basically leave us with, if everything goes in a perfect world, that will leave us with the 3-month buffer for our extension, to be approved. As the personnel right now currently working on the CRA, we are bringing this to the board to show there is a time sensitive issue at hand here if we're going to actually make this happen. So what we did, we looked at, and as a follow-up to last meeting, we did discuss the possibility of two companies possibly doing our redevelopment plan. One being our current CRA attorney, Gray Robinson. The possibility of piggybacking on the West Palm Beach contract for the redevelopment plan. Those were our 2 options that we did have. We did take this before our advisory board last night, like we do every agenda, and it was a recommendation made by the advisory board to reach out to the previous the person who worked on the last plan, Dr. Frank Snedman, Professor Snedman. Staff did reach out to Professor Snedman, and then he did indeed said he was interested in possibly participating in updating the redevelopment plan. Right now, it's just the time for us, if we are going to go forward with the redevelopment plan. We just got a new procurement director hired last week. By the time she gets her feet wet and catches up on what's been lacking, you're talking maybe 3 weeks. By the time she looks to put together this proposal for us to go out for the redevelopment plan, you're talking probably another 3 weeks to a month. Once we put it on the street for another 30 days to secure, for people to put in proposals, you're talking another 30 days. Once you do that, you have a committee that'll come together, review all of the proposals, and then a decision will be made. And that's if everything happens in perfect timing. The CRA staff felt it was the perfect time to bring this to the board's attention during this meeting and see if the board would like us to move forward, or see if the board would actually like to take one of the companies up on their offer to do the redevelopment plan. These are 2 ways that we can legally get the board, the plan updated, and I'll let the attorney speak to that, but these are 2 legal ways that we can get the plan updated without going out to procurement at the current moment.
Okay, so how do you want us to proceed tonight? What is the next step, in moving forward in this meeting? Do we
The-
get presentations from all the three candidates?
We
It's-
definitely do have.
No, we don't have candidates. This is,
This is a big old mess.
What do you mean we don't have candidates?
we're talking about something totally different than what I think they're talking about. Go ahead, Scott.
But
Am I missing
I mean,
something?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I think Scott was.
Mr.
wanted to
Chairman,
speak before.
several months ago, we directed staff to put out an RFP for a director for the CRA. Stop everything else.
We did.
If you did, that RFP is not on the street. Am I mistaken? I've been looking
I
for the
don't think
information.
so.
It's not on the street. We haven't bid it.
Through the chairman. At the last meeting, it was directed for staff to put an RFP out on the street. Staff immediately began working with the personnel department. This was around the holidays. Currently, we do not have a personnel director on staff. They have developed a draft. We just got the draft from the personnel department this week, yesterday, matter of fact, of the first draft of the scope to go out on the street. Staff did understand the direction of the board and did move forward with the board. During those times, those are the holidays and everything, and their various staff persons were out in the personnel department. But that was a top priority, and we made it a top priority of the personnel department. And currently, like I said, we do have the first draft, and we are moving full speed ahead with the request of the board.
But I heard something different from the director, though. That Alim said that he did. You said you didn't, but he said he did.
No. When I say we did, we got the proposal from personnel and we are reviewing it. We started the process immediately. I reached out to other CRAs. I gave direction to the personnel department to get copies of other CRA directors and the job description.
But
And-
this is something that the city does so many times.
Yeah, but we
I don't
have
understand why we
changes.
have to start from scratch.
We are not starting from scratch. We looked at what other CRAs had, and we are incorporating that. We are not reinventing the wheel. I'm looking at what.
So the vote was for you to put out an RFP.
Yes.
So
So what
in-
happened then?
In the meantime,
We-
Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
you guys have been running the show for close to 6 months or more now. Continue to run the show until that RFP is out and we hire a CRA director. Stop with all this stopgap and fooling around. We have a year and a half for this CRA to still be alive. It's not going anywhere. We just had our commissioner here saying we're good till October 2016. So in the meantime, get a real CRA director in here, and then you guys continue to lift 2 jobs in the meantime. I don't think it's necessary for us to bring in somebody to work 2 or 3 months till we bring in somebody. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, but Mr.
No, my main concern here, I want you to hear me out clearly.
Sure.
And Mr. Sori just went over it, over the timeline, which doesn't really offer us too much, luxury of waiting.
It's not luxury, but
Yeah.
it's still a year and 9 months.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's October of 2016. That's a long time.
So you want to wait until, keep procrastinating until it's actually time for us to just...
Absolutely not. There's no reason that we can't have a CRA director in place by the February meeting. There isn't. I'm tired of everybody saying, oh, well, this person quit, we didn't have time, it was the holidays. Everybody gets paid good salaries. We have a month until our February meeting. Get that RFP on the street. Get some applications in here. Hire somebody.
Yeah, but why did we decide not to do the RFP? I don't understand.
No. The RFP, it was not decided not to do the RFP. We were getting the scope of work based on the job description for an executive director. That is what is required to put out an RFP on the street.
we discuss 2 different things. We're discussing the
Sunsetting of the CRA
the
and the CRA director.
not even that. We're discussing hiring a CRA director. Then we're discussing the
Yes.
what's the other topic?
The
The
redevelopment
redevelopment plan.
for downtown.
What I wanted to say, but I totally agree with Scott. To me, I think that we take too long. It's almost like 2 months
It's a month.
since we actually voted on putting an RFP out. So you guys give me the idea that you didn't want to do it. But anyways, what I really want to say regarding the redevelopment plan. I think that I talked to you. If we don't want to go, if we short of time, as you mentioned, our CRA attorney, actually during the time we were talking about it, saying that he can do it for us for a fraction of money. So I don't understand, while you guys on staff still doing what you do, and we already have a CRA attorney that actually can do the work for less than a quarter of the money that the other company asked. I don't understand why we're not just moving to make it go quicker until that we have a CRA director. And I take the comment of the commissioner very, very seriously. If you really want to continue with the CRA, we need to follow the guidance of the commissioners, or both commissioners that actually representing the city. So to me, I think the best things to do right now is to have the two of you continue to manage the CRA until that we have the executive director. I'm making a motion to have the CRA attorney.
No. Before you make the
sorry.
motion. Okay, go ahead, Councilman.
And
Okay.
I understand, Councilwoman still, and we keep throwing money, 20 here, tomorrow, maybe after 3 months, we pay Mr. Shidman for 6 months, and we didn't have any result. Now we're gonna spend another 25,000, and to the CRA lawyer that was here way for quite some time, he never show interest in getting the job. And we spoke about hiring a director, and it can take only 1 month. Why don't we wait for 1 month and put the IFP and wait for next month, Councilwoman still?
Okay, I don't have, actually, that was my passion. When I talked to you, didn't I really wanted to have a CRA executive director before we do anything. But it's not even a concern. I'm just going by what staff is saying, that they have time restraint,
and
that
time
they're really trying to put it out. To me, that would be the best things to do, is to wait. If we had taken it more seriously, by now we would have an executive director. So I'm not sure that the process or the legalities that come with this, do we have to wait another 2 weeks to put the RFP out and wait another 90
No.
days to actually bring it back in? I'm
Yeah.
not.
I'm sensing that
This-
we all, hold on 1 second. We all are talking as if bringing the director is going to be like the redeemer of the CRA. No, the director is not going to be the redeemer of the CRA. We've had past directors, okay, since the inception of the CRA, and we've had past directors, we've had past coordinators, and nothing happened. And that is the main reason why we are in the position that we're in now. And the director is still going to need a group of consultants, to do the work for him or her.
No, that's the thing. The director gets
Yes.
paid a hefty salary.
No.
That's what we got
The
in trouble
director, hold on 1 second. All I'm trying to say is, if we are really serious about moving North Miami to a new level, we have to move away from old habits. If we have a ship that is sinking, I do not keep the same captain with the ship that is sinking. I try to look for new blood. I try to look for new people with experts, with new ideas. That we all agree that the CRA is in shambles. I think, in my opinion, if we are to move forward, we should try to get some experts. We don't have time to play around, to just hire somebody here and there, just like Mr. Councilman Bien-Aimé just said. And we don't have time to be throwing, from the research that I have made, I believe I found out that $45,000 have already been paid to Mr. Schnittman for some kind of work. I don't know what it was. Is that true, Mr. Manager? No, hold on 1 second, hold on.
That's correct.
For what, to do what?
To start developing the CRA plan.
And what do we have for that?
Duke.
Duke,
with the past administration, the past CRA coordinator slash director that we had, they were not able to complete the plan. It didn't work, and they couldn't come to a mutual agreement, so the plan was never finished.
After $45,000.
May I speak, may I say
So
something?
hold on 1 second. I'm not finished. Now we have to learn to seize opportunities when it came. When I was elected, when I was knocking on doors of constituents, I promised them one thing. When I step onto this dais and sit on this chair, I will try to make decisions that would benefit North Miami and the residents. All I'm asking here is pure common sense. The true definition of insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expect to get different results. If you put sugar in water, you will get sugar water all the time. It's not going to be salty. All I'm asking here, guys, is simple common sense. You know, we have companies that have been out there, they have proven themselves to be the experts in the field. They've been working with different cities, and they have a track record. Why don't we just, for once, we have to show people that we do want the city of North Miami to move forward. Without the CRA, the North Miami is not going anywhere. I would like to see this CRA put together, and we have to start putting, our head together and move forward. Let's just hire a group of people to bring us to redo the CRA plan, to do whatever it is that it takes for us to restructure the CRA and get it extended. And after that, we can move with the projects that we need to move with. But to keep coming to meetings after meetings after meetings and keep tabling everything, say, oh, next meeting, next meeting, next meeting, I'm not used to that.
And that's what we should not be doing. But what we got in trouble with the county for originally was too many staff hires, hiring people, spending money on salary, and not actually doing anything. What staff is asking us to do tonight is hire somebody until we can hire somebody. I disagree. I say you guys keep doing what you've been doing for 6 months.
They're not
Save
doing
that money.
anything. They even came to,
Then do something. Quit waiting for us to make those decisions and do
Mr. Budget
something.
Mr. Budget Director, CRA Director, sorry.
Coordinator, yeah.
Have you not come to me many times and discussed the fact that you are unable to play the role of CRA coordinator / CRA, whatever it is? That, I mean, if I engage somebody to do a task and the person comes to me multiple times and say, I can't do it, why should I force someone to keep doing something that he or she said that she cannot do?
I've not heard that before, so if you are unable to do the job, then Mr. Manager, find somebody who can.
That's what we're trying to do.
But no, we don't need to spend more money to hire more people, in my opinion. If we can vote, we vote. But this CRA is doing nothing. We're talking about hiring staff to manage nothing. So somebody in this city hall should be able to do that for what they're already being paid to do.
They don't have the expertise.
May I say something?
Can you guys make a motion and therefore can move
Do
on?
do I get to speak, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
and then I'll make a motion afterward.
Okay, thank you. First of all, we talked about a director. Our most important, if you want the CRA to keep going, your number one priority is to get a development plan, not to get a director. Right now, the CRA is doing nothing. So unless you hire we are not going to hire a director, or should not hire a director, unless they know how to hire a CRA. They should not be going out for consultants. If we hire a director, I'm hoping that that director would know how to prepare a development plan.
Well, you joined me here. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not for hiring a director
Okay,
at
now,
this time.
in respect for Mr. Schnidman, who was asked to come here because I believe it was brought up again by the advisory committee last night. That's what I was told. Mr. Schnidman, I don't know if it was $35,000 or $45,000, was paid to do a development plan. He did that. We have a really thick plan that they kept bringing to the meetings. It was our past coordinator who kept not getting it done, was not capable of taking that plan and running with it. Meetings kept being canceled. So I wouldn't blame Mr. Schnidman for not getting this plan done. His plan, I believe, is mostly done with the exception of he kept asking the coordinator for projects. He could not finish the plan without projects. That's what Arthur and the manager have been doing for the last several months, is putting together projects. And whether it's right or not, you've come up with projects that are parking garages. We have a base of a plan. We paid a lot of money for that, and I think we can use it. Now, I don't know if Mr. Selkowitz is going to use it. He offered to do it for a reasonable fee. They brought up Mr. Schnidman again to maybe continue. Why reinvent the wheel? Because he's already got it mostly done and can finish it. I don't know what it would cost. He was here to speak. But I think more importantly, we need a plan before you get the director, because the director is only going to be able to go out and hire someone to do a plan. And that's what our commissioner just said. We're not supposed to be hiring salaries. A director would be nice if we were out there loaning money, having projects. Our only project right now is to extend the CRA.
Okay,
Okay.
Madam
Mr.
Councilman,
Mayor.
I'm going to give
Wait.
it to you. I totally
the motion.
agree.
Okay.
I totally agree with you that we do not need a director at this time, and I think that's what everybody agrees on.
We do have a director. That is Mr. Ghani as our director.
No,
We
no,
do
no, no,
have a
no. We
director.
don't. You say we do not need to bring somebody
an
in
outside
from
director.
outside. Yes, but all that I'm asking is for all of you to kind of join me in the way that I'm thinking, in the way that I'm seeing this. The way that I'm seeing it is that we could bring a group, be it one or two, or a group of consultants to simply do the CRA restructuring for us, and then then they will negotiate with Miami-Dade County to extend the life of our CRA, and then in that same process, maybe I think it's going to take about 6, 7, or 8 months to do. Then in that same process, when we get toward the end of it, we can decide to hire a new director or whatever else. But at least we will have this done. And like I said, staff has already said that they cannot continue the way that they are.
So your group of consultants is either RMA, who has a proposal in here, or
Is
Great-
RMA here?
And
I think your attorney trying to say something.
Miss,
or
Mr.
Gray
Mayor.
Robinson, who would be the other group of consultants. And I understand Mr. Schnidman, they've brought Mr. Schnidman back up to speak, and he doesn't need a group because he is all-inclusive.
Okay.
Maybe. And from what I understand, and I was in favor of bringing a CRA director to move the CRA forward. But at the same time, it looks like, from what I understand from the chair, Smith Joseph, and from what I understand from Council Chairman Member Carol Keys, while we need a director, we still need someone to put a redevelopment plan
Together.
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 That's what it is. And like you proposed before, let's bring a motion to bring, and like you proposed the IMA to do the redevelopment plan. And then in the meantime, we're looking to see if we can find a way to bring the directors.
At
That would
least
be my
something will
motion.
be being done. Mr. Attorney has something to.
Mr. Chair and board members, you're absolutely correct. And what we would propose, what we have proposed, is to get us over that hump. There has been a lot of work done in the last 6 to 8 months with your existing staff, the reports with the Cordino Group. It's the task at hand is to put all those people together, work with them, with your staff, with finance, to put that plan together, go to the county, negotiate the extension, and put it together in a form that is not only meets the requirement of the statute, meets the desires of the commissioners as he spoke, to do exactly that, and to do it in a way and make a document that is feasible, practical, and while we're doing that, contemporaneously continue and hire your executive director, and it then becomes seamless. It gets integrated, and it's done. And that's the goal that we propose to achieve for you, is to get that past the, to come in and assist your existing staff to get over that hump, take advantage of our knowledge of the CRA, the county staff who we work for in other capacities. We have done this in other jurisdictions. You know, it's just the level of our involvement beyond what we currently do is you are asking us to increase that level of involvement, and if you so desire, that's exactly what we'll do for the fee that we've quoted. Whether it's with Mr. Schnidman or with anyone else, that's up to you, but whatever you direct us to do, we will make it happen.
Here's Mr. Chair. Here's my concern right now. I'm not a lawyer, so please help me out. If we take this out of staff, out of our boundary, to actually handpick a specific group or specific person, I have a problem. I think that if we want to go about doing it right, we have to do an RFP. We cannot go out and just handpick, what's the company name?
We can
RMA,
piggyback. We can
or
piggyback.
we can,
The state,
but I
state
don't think
allows
that,
you to do
yeah,
so.
but I'm not saying that the state cannot, but it would not be fair to know that the advisory board, and I know some of us probably in favor of Mr. Schnidman to give it to him. But some of us probably in favor of the company, the RMA, and others can be like the CRA attorney that we already have on board. Others probably have somebody else. So to me, it will be very chaotic to handpick one person when we could have just do an RFP to do it clean. So that's all I'm saying.
It will delay the whole process. It will delay the whole process. We need to move
do
on.
something right, Mr. Mayor? Okay, let me make a.
We've-
If I make a motion, would you guys?
I was gonna make one.
already.
Oh, you were gonna make one, but remember that you stopped me from making mine.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Councilwoman Steril, we did not decide. It's staff purpose when it's like 2 times before us and ask us to hire the IMA. What we're doing is just follow staff recommendation and agree with them. We're not decide.
My motion, I want to make a motion to
After my motion? Go ahead.
to listen to the candidates tonight, see what they have to present to us, and then afterward.
What candidates are they?
I think they said Mr. Schnidman is here, as well as.
Yeah, but that would not be
I have to
fair.
protest greatly. This is not advertised.
I'm
No.
only-
Companies are not
Yes.
advertised. This is all going to happen without proper advertisement.
Yes.
So we can't hear.
I
presentations
can make
tonight.
the motion, and you can just vote it no, just vote it down.
Mr. Attorney.
Yeah,
Can I make
The
a?
attorney better.
Yeah, go
Let
ahead.
me, this issue, the issue of RFP and the procurement did come up at the advisory board last night.
That's nice. We're here tonight.
And we're here tonight. And as I explained to them, I'm now explaining to you all that staff is recommending, not us, staff is recommending that due to the short time period, the compressed time period, that they are recommending that an RFP not be issued. As far as the legality, you can in fact do that. You can do it in a number of different ways which are perfectly legal and which are being proposed. One is an extension or an additional task to our existing agreement with the city through the CRA, or conversely, in the case of RMA, to piggyback on a publicly procured, fully vetted process through them. All you would be doing is negotiating the scope and the price differential. But either way, they're perfectly permissible legally. That's not to say that there's not a right or wrong way to do it here. If you elect to say, no, we have the time, we would like to put out an RFP, that's the prerogative of this board.
This is advertised as a discussion item. There is a vast difference between a discussion item and an item on which a vote is expected. So we need to get out of the bad habit of advertising things as discussions, because that leads one to believe we're not going to be voting. So if the intent is that we're voting to select somebody tonight, I believe this has been improperly advertised because it's advertised as a discussion item.
Was that what you intended to type, Mr.?
Whatever he intended to type, it's what got typed.
I'm asking
It's
him.
what got publicized.
I'm asking him. Let him answer.
It was a discussion for all of the people to do a presentation, and then hopefully the board will make a recommendation
Who
on
all
which.
of the people were supposed to be?
It would be the two initial companies were RMA and Gray Robinson.
Okay, but we've all heard the name Frank Schnidman thrown around here judiciously tonight. He's not anywhere in the advertised documents that I'm looking at online. His name does not appear on this agenda.
That's because his name didn't come up until last night.
But we're here tonight. The problem is it's not fair to other parties who might want to be here tonight. If we're going to allow Mr. Schnidman to present, we should have others present. We should have everybody and then it should be advertised as a presentation and a vote, not a discussion. We've got to quit being so darn sloppy with our advertising of our agendas and the things that we're bringing forward. If you want us to vote to choose, put on this item, vote to choose, and have everybody, and if you have everybody listed, and those who aren't listed don't get to present, because it's not fair to then open it up at the last second and say, everybody come on down and present.
Now, Mr. Director,
Yes, sir.
when this agenda was printed, what was the intention behind putting this item on?
The intention was actually to get a company to move the CRA plan
No, was
forward.
there any intention for us to vote on this item today? Yes or no?
No, there was a direction last night from
We
this-
don't, not caring about
Was
last night.
there,
This is
what
us.
was the intention today for this item?
to make a selection of a company.
To make a selection, to have the three candidates present and then have the council make a
The
decision?
board make a
So
decision.
why 3 candidates if only 2 are on the agenda that was publicized?
If I may, the agenda item, if you look at the actual agenda item at the end, at the time, there were only 2 companies that were asked to submit proposals that would fit within the parameters of what we discussed about not going
Did
through
you say you were asked?
Well, staff reached out, and so it says, in short, to successfully stay on track, et cetera, et cetera. It's to
From
make-
what I remember in our last
make a
meeting,
decision to attain.
in our last meeting, Mr. Zolkowitz was the one who showed, who expressed interest in this
The company.
Proposal.
Correct.
Yeah,
As it was being
but you said that
discussed.
staff reached out
And then
to you guys.
After that, staff said, yes, please provide us with a proposal, which we did.
So your company did,
Yes.
this RMA company did.
Did.
Mr. Schnidman doesn't appear in the agenda I'm looking at.
Okay, now,
So-
Mr. Director, hold on one second. How was Mr. Schnidman invited to present yesterday?
Based on your advisory board meeting last night, which was held last night,
So none of that has been advertised. They made it up last night. Nobody's even communicated that to me
Hold
today.
hold on, sir. How was Mr. Schnidman invited to the meeting last night?
based on the advisory board meeting held last night, a directive was given to get a price from Mr. Snidman. First to find out whether he was interested in completing the CRA plan, and secondly, to get a price from him.
You said the board contacted him
Not the board. They gave staff direction last night.
to call
The
him?
advisory board gave staff direction to reach out to Mr.
But you know what?
Stidman
I am not
last
a
night.
lawyer, but I know what we're doing here is wrong because we cannot go around soliciting people without proper advertising. I understand what the attorney said earlier, that because that he's on staff, we can actually give him other works to do, or we can piggyback from somebody else. But we can't just go around and asking, are you interested to come? And then it's wrong. So let's just start from scratch. It's okay. Can you guys come with a motion or something for we can move on?
No,
I
but
already-
the question is, you said
It's wrong.
the board, the
The
advisory
board gave you
They
direction
follow
to.
direction from the advisory board.
The advisory board made a motion to reach out to Mr. Snidman. They asked if by today at 12 o'clock, if you get notice from Mr. Snidman, if he's interested, to get a price.
But the advisory
And
board does
when
not
were you
give
planning
you.
to tell
That's
us
crazy.
here at this meeting with no advertisement? This is
It doesn't make
such
any
a
sense.
mess, such a mess. I don't know what you guys did over the last month, but other than make a mess, you didn't do much.
That's crazy. Because you cannot just take advisory. The advisory board advises us, but not staff. cannot just get up and just take it and just move on and do exactly what they ask you to do. And tonight we have a mess in our hands.
Yes.
And it's illegal. Say it is illegal.
I move that we, I
And
move
this
that
was
we continue
publicized.
this item with clear direction.
Okay.
What's the direction?
My direction is that we halt any discussion into stopgap planners and simply get a director in this chair as soon as possible.
What is as soon as possible? By next
February,
week?
March
By
at the
next
latest.
council
I mean,
meeting?
you
Your next
think that an
meeting is
RFP
February
had been
3rd.
proposed and was
Yes.
advertised. I assumed it would have been on the street. I'm stunned to find out it's not. But however you do it, just make some decisions and get some people in here.
But we have to vote for the director. That's our.
We don't have to.
For the
No,
director,
that's our. That's part
Yeah,
of
we
our.
gotta vote
That's
for it.
part of our CRA.
Okay. Then,
plan.
then my request
To
is
bring
that
somebody
we
here for February.
freeze everything else, and that at the February meeting, you have a list of potential directors to run this CRA.
we cannot freeze everything. We do not have that luxury. I keep telling
Then
you.
staff can do what they do in the
Listen,
meantime.
yeah, but that's what we've been doing for the past like 10, 15 years. Keep freezing things,
No,
and
no,
then
no,
we
that's
and then
not-
we and then we
that's
get
not-
nowhere.
That's not what we've been doing.
Hmm?
That's not what we've been
Yeah,
doing.
but why is the CRA where it is now?
Because all we do is
Why-
throw
why is
money
the
at
CRA where it is
salaries.
now?
All we do is throw money at salaries. I just heard my commissioner stand here tonight and say, you're on a better direction, quit throwing money at six-figure salaries. Then let's not throw money at a salary tonight. Let's get somebody in here who's gonna run this place, and then put the money that we have into projects.
And
With no directions from
Mayor.
anybody. Yeah, go ahead.
And a question for Councilman Scott Galvin. While we're looking for a director, from what I understand, we still need someone to put together the plan that the director gonna
Hire some
and- and
some
plan.
Let the
consultant anyway.
director put together the plan. I don't understand why we have to hire somebody to put together a plan so that we can bring in a director in a month to run that plan.
But-
why do
No.
you, if you hire a coach to run the team, you put the coach in charge. You don't let the offensive coordinator set the policy for the team and then bring in the coach to follow what that offensive coordinator has put in place. What you do is you hire the coach. Hire the coach. Get a coach in here who's going to run this team and quit running us around in circles every month.
But-
And this is a disaster to have put together two people on paper and bring in a third after last night's meeting.
So, Scott, I sense your frustration. Can we, while we're looking for the director, can we give direction with staff in the city, the CRA attorney to move with the redevelopment plan?
Sure, absolutely.
so I make
They're
a m-
capable.
I make a motion to have the CRA attorney with the current staff to move the redevelopment plan while we're working on hiring.
They've been
a CRA.
moving. They've been moving. What's going to be new?
The redevelopment plan, no, the city attorney would not, as we discussed the last time, that we needed a redevelopment company, a company to do the redevelopment plan, which it was suggested to hire the company for $200,000, where the CRA attorney says, we done that before, we can actually give us an extension of a new scope of work, working with the CRA director, executive director, where we can actually do it if you just give us an
Actually,
increase
I
of
didn't even finish my
$20,000.
motion. I started my motion, and you stopped me.
So you know
and
what, guys?
I never finished my motion.
But you guys just
never
discuss
did.
around everything. When I'm making a motion, I can't. You know
Can
what?
I finish mine?
I'm done for tonight. Go ahead.
Hold on. Procedurally,
I'm done.
two things. One, the idea of us being involved in drafting the redevelopment plan was for us to go beyond the scope of just drafting the legal document, the statutory, but getting into the policy document, which is not within generally our scope of services, and that was the gist behind our proposal. Procedurally, Councilman Galvin has placed a motion. It hasn't. It needs to either obtain a second or fail for lack of a second before any other motions are placed on the table. So that's procedurally. That's where you're at. Councilman Galvin has made a motion to stop everything until an executive director is hired.
That was after I started making my
I'm sorry.
motion.
Mayor
I-
Joseph
I-
made a
then
motion
I
before.
apologize.
too.
Okay?
Right, so.
Now-
Which one to keep?
The motion that I wanted to make, actually, before I make the motion, I had the opportunity to look over the proposal from RMA as well as the one from Gray Robinson, but I didn't have the opportunity to look at the one from Mr. Schnittman until a few minutes prior to coming to the dais. But again, wanting so much to move ahead with North Miami and with the hope that I will get the consensus or the participation of my colleagues. I'm just an eager type of person who just like to just move things and move things as soon as possible. And I looked at RMA. This is a company, sometimes, when we stumble onto something that's good, we should just, we do it. I mean, I look at the RMA and the vast majority of work and expertise that they have and comparing it to Gray Robinson, and it's like comparing apple to orange to me. And the second point is that Gray Robinson has been with us, I believe, from the inception of the CRA, of our CRA. And we had the opportunity to move forward with Gray Robinson, and this is where we are now. I mean, in the effort of getting somewhere and moving this city forward so that the residents who live in it and the tourists who are coming, we can attract them, and we can join forces with MOCA, which is moving in a great direction. I think my motion is going to be for us to piggyback on with the contract. I believe it's from West Palm with RMA, and hire them to restructure our CRA, and we negotiate with Miami-Dade County for us to try to extend our CRA life until such time that we do engage a new director.
Where's Sally?
That's my motion.
And Mr. Mayor, can I add a friendly amendment to your motion? And while we are in RMA for the redevelopment plan, that we still continue with the process of putting an RFQ in order to bring a director. That's the friendly amendment.
That's fine.
Okay, Mayor Joseph, can you repeat your motion again for me? It's a motion to piggyback to the contract of West Palm Beach model to.
He will give you the language. You have it on paper, and the attorney will give you
I don't have
the whole thing. It's in there.
So are we spending the $200,000 that they actually
It's
asked
not
you? I'm just
$200,000,
asking a
yeah.
question.
The complete scope for the redevelopment plan is $70,000 for RMA.
The other components are add-ons that they're proposing that you could or could not follow. That's the board's decision.
There's a motion on the table.
I don't see the language. Doesn't say that. You have it here?
It's in the report.
Okay, this is the language now. Which amendments do you propose? Board
Just a
Member
friendly
Diana?
amendment to continue the process of hiring a director.
To continue the hiring process?
Yes,
Okay.
of a director.
For a CRA director, for a CRA executive director. Is added on to the language.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I might ask one question, please? The contract that we're being asked to piggyback on, where is that contract?
We have a copy of the contract. It was online for the last CRA meeting.
Is it online for this CRA meeting?
No, it's not online for this CRA meeting.
Why if we're being, why if it was a potential that we would be asked to piggyback on a contract, is it not on this agenda?
It was, we put the basic scope of the project on. I don't believe we had to put the piggyback contract on this meeting if we had the scope and say we were gonna piggyback off the original.
I would totally disagree with you. Again, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be, we know where I'm voting on this, but this city has gotta get away from its sloppy practices of voting on things that aren't advertised and aren't on agendas. I'm tired of it, I'm tired of it, I'm tired of it. That's how we keep getting ourselves in trouble, because we keep getting sloppy. Quit being sloppy, staff. Quit being sloppy. Quit.
Councilman Galvin,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I
you're-
don't need
you're
any
not-
further answer. I don't need any further answer. It's not here.
I
You don't,
understand.
there's no
That's what I'm
excuse.
saying.
There's no, I don't need any further excuse, because
Okay.
there's no excuse. It's not here.
the better course of conduct would be to have it, if again, an option is to condition the approval on distributing the contract to all of you for review.
I'm not gonna vote on something and then be given the documentation of it. That's foolish.
I'm in agreement with that.
But why did you guys put a discussion when you know well what you wanted us to do? You have the intention, you know that you wanted us to vote on something. You didn't publish it, you didn't.
They're sloppy.
They didn't
Staff
bring
is
it
being
back.
sloppy.
It was published in
That's-
last month, and this month they decided not to burn it.
Do you guys want to move? Because it's.
I'd get fired. If I was this sloppy at my job, I'd get fired.
It's crazy.
What are your recommendations, Mr. Attorney?
Well, my recommendation is that you try and be as transparent as possible. So there's no question amongst yourselves as well as the public as to what you are doing. That is my personal and my legal observation. But I would not be doing my job if I did not also tell you that it has been distributed. It is a public document, and if you so choose, you can move forward. Is that the best way to do it? And my recommendation, my personal opinion, no, try and be as transparent as possible whenever possible. You can continue the item or conditionally approve it.
Hello and welcome.
As according to staff, it has been distributed, made available to the public online last month. I wasn't here at the meeting last month. I don't know if it was made available to you all. Assuming it was, then obviously you all would have had an opportunity to take a look at it that time as well.
So why did you guys remove it if it was online last month?
It hasn't been removed. It's still online, but for last month's meeting, we put the actual part that we were gonna use is posted what we have now, what the scope for us would be. It falls under the parameters of the piggyback contract, which we did provide last month. The whole contract is online. We now did post the actual proposal from RMA that outlines what we needed to do.
Well, we got the recommendations from the attorney, so we can move forward. So, Mr. Clerk, you need to read the motion.
Yes, Chair. First, we had a motion made by Mayor, but Chair
Chairman.
Joseph, there was no second. Another one made by Board Member Steril, no second. Another one made by.
Mine was seconded by.
What was
Which-
mine again?
The
Mine was
motion-
seconded by Board Member Bien-Aimé.
With
With a friendly
a
amendment.
friendly
With the friendly amendment.
That's what you raised.
It's the previous motions.
Don't
not the
worry,
one that-
There is only one motion, my motion, which was seconded and with the friendly
We
amendment.
state that, Chair, for record, because they have been made. And now we had the final motions made by Chair Joseph to piggyback on the West Palm Beach contract with Redevelopment Management Associates, RMA, with the friendly amendment made by board member Bien-Aimé to continue with the hiring process, to continue with hiring an executive director for the CRA. We need a second for that motion.
I second with the amendment.
Okay, do we have a vote?
Do roll call.
Is
No, we
I have-
already
I have a-
discussed it.
I just have a quick
Oh,
question.
yeah, she, board member.
Is
Where is it on the agenda or on the public
Never mind.
record? I'm sorry,
it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's not anywhere,
ahead.
it's just not. But let's vote, let's vote. Roll.
Just go ahead.
Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Chair Joseph,
Yes.
board member Galvin,
No.
board member Bien-Aimé,
Yes.
board member Stereo,
Yes.
board member Keys,
Absolutely not.
pass 3 to 2.
Okay, next item, number 3.
The next item is the CRA Advisory Committee appointments. And this is with their vacancies on the CRA Advisory Board that need to be filled.
Where's the applications?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to not make any appointments at this point. Is it possible that I can revoke my existing appointments, even if they have time on their term at this point?
Through the attorney.
I would have to take a look at your, I apologize, as you all know, Mr. Zelkwitz is dealing with a family emergency. I do not know the answer to that off the top of my head because I'm not as familiar as Mr. Zelkwitz with your enabling document. However, I can find out that answer for you and provide it to you tomorrow morning.
Okay. Then I came prepared tonight for those of you who are in the room and who were hoping that I would appoint you this evening. I am flabbergasted at what transpired last night. The CRA Advisory Board needs to check themselves. I am not making any appointments and am glad to let mine sit open until I can have conversations with those of you who wish to serve further. And it would be my hope to revoke my existing appointments to that board at the February meeting.
We will have an answer for you.
That's mean we adjourn.
So what was that, a motion to table the appointments until February?
If you guys want to make appointments, that's up to you. Those of you who approached me, who are sitting in the room, who are my past and present appointees, I'm dumbfounded at what you allowed to stumble your way through your agenda last night. That's not the way I expect the CRA to be run. I am not appointing anybody new. I'm not appointing anybody at large. And in fact, I'm hoping to revoke Mr. McDermott. If you get to the microphone now, I'm going to push hard to do it right now. I'm going to revoke my existing appointees to this board because I am dumbfounded that you're allowing this board to be used and manipulated to put things forward that aren't on the agenda and aren't publicly advertised. You should know better.
Thank you very much, Mr. Board Member. I still need a motion to table the appointments for
I
tonight.
second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? Roll
Mr.
call?
Mr. Chair,
No.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I have to say to staff, and as I've always said, I am extremely disappointed of how you guys actually moving the CRA forward. I give it to my colleagues tonight, and I have no desire to continue to lead the city the way that it used to lead, or not the way that we do it tonight. It's wrong, and I hope that the mayor get the free pass tonight, because this is not how I will continue to vote. And I just want to make it clear.
Well,
I
thank you
agree
very
with
much, Madam Board Member, and I am in full agreement with you as well. And it's just not right the way that it was done, the way it was presented, and because of that, you make our job a lot harder, and we don't look too good today because of the way this item was presented. Due diligence was not done, and as a result, this is what transpired from it. So please, in the future, see to it that everything, all T's are crossed and all I's are dotted before we come to meetings, so that the council members can have the appropriate documents so we can make plausible decisions. We depend on you. Thank you very much. There was a motion to table the appointments, and it was seconded by Board Member Bien-Aimé. Roll call.
Board Member Keys?
Yes.
Board Member Bien-Aimé?
Yes.
Chair Joseph?
Yes.
Board Member Estero?
She would vote yes.
Board Member Gavin?
Yes.
Motion passes 4 to 1.
4-0. So it's only 4 people on the dais. It's
That's
4-0.
right.
When she comes, she will vote.
Okay.
Mr. Schneidman, I believe he wants to say a few words. Can you keep it to 2 minutes? Huh? 2? Yeah, I just wanted
Frank
to.
Schneidman,
He's been trying to.
the founding executive director of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency. And Mr. Chairman, as you may remember, on 9th of February in 2006, you sat in that corner chair at the back table when we had the inaugural meeting of the advisory committee to which you had an appointment. And we gave birth to a very strong baby. And somehow, in the last decade, it's grown up to be a juvenile delinquent. And it's time for you to take control. Now, I have to say that at 10 o'clock last night, I got a phone call because the advisory committee decided, after listening to RMA and after listening to the Gray Robinson presentation, to call me and ask me if I would be interested in coming today. And I, as a favor to North Miami, I have not talked to anybody since April of last year. And I find it slanderous to be accused of basically participating in the manipulation of the advisory committee. I haven't even talked to any of these people. I came here as a favor. Now let me tell you something. There are 10 CRAs that are municipal in Miami-Dade County. There are 4 that are in the unincorporated area, and there's a new one that's being proposed for the area by the zoo. There is a great sentiment expressed by your commissioner. If you carefully listen to her, she didn't tell you to go hire an executive director. She specifically said these guys who weren't being paid anything should do it, and they have staff at the county that can help you. And the last thing that she wanted, she said she wouldn't support you. Go back and look at this video. She said she would not support you if you started paying 6-figure salaries, and you can't get a qualified executive director for a CRA in this state for less than a 6-figure salary. So she told you that the county's got free staff. Not only that, in section 34 of the lease that you have with Alita Partners for Biscayne Landing, the community benefits section says they're obligated to give you free help. Obligated to give you free help. You haven't asked. Now, the reality of it is that you're out of time. You spent more than $500,000 on the first plan. It is probably the second best redevelopment plan ever produced in the state. Riviera Beach is probably the best. But this plan, in its detail, goes through how you were going to meet your one-for-one commitment to provide 5,000 units of rehabbed or brand new affordable housing. That obviously has to change because the Biscayne Landing formula 1-to-1. You know, if you think a parking garage, you're going to be asking in 10 years, from 2016 to 2026, and you can actually go to 46 under the law. 40 years CRA can go under the law for those CRAs established after 2002. 50 years for the ones established before. You're asking in the 10 years from 2016 to 2026 for the county to forego $38 million of money that these people, the CRA doesn't get free money. The CRA is going to be getting $65 million of tax money from the ad valorem taxes that should have gone to Miami and going to the CRA. The county's going to give $38 million of the North Miami taxes back to the CRA. Over $100 million if Biscayne Landing bills out on schedule. $100 million between 2016 and 2026. You need a redevelopment plan that shows how you're going to spend that money, and it's not going to be on 3 parking garages. So if you think you're going to walk into the county and tell them, we want $38 million of your money, right now the county is concerned about the ad valorem commitment from the general fund that they have to rebate to the 14 and now perhaps 15 CRAs. And so you need a plan. You need a really good plan. If you want to go with RMA, go with RMA. You want to go with Gray Robinson, go with Gray Robinson. I'm here because I got a call at 10 o'clock last night asking me if I would come. I didn't lobby anybody, I didn't talk to anybody, and I'm offended that somehow, and you got the wrong number. I was paid $35,000 over a 7-month period, and I came down here time after time to find out that the meeting was set, nobody was around, and one time when I came down for a presentation, I was in the elevator when my cell phone rang to say the agenda item had been pulled.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Snedman.
Okay,
We have to
thank you
start our
very
regular
much.
meeting.
So I think that you've got a substantial task ahead of you, but you're already too late. It's not enough time. If you look at the time schedule, the meetings don't, you're.
That's
out
why
of
we're
time.
trying to take
Thank
off. Yeah, thank you very much, and I'm glad that I gave you the opportunity to express yourself and convey the message that you just did. So are we going to do the reports or what? CRA attorney reports?
No report.
No report? The motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right.
What time do we want to come back in for